Hey, good day everyone. It's JDX back with you for a post-ride equipment review for you in that after riding some 6,500 kilometers of Vancouver to Halifax, I've actually used all this equipment now and I can tell you what works and maybe what doesn't. So I'm going to highlight with a couple of the things I wore in the rain. We did see quite a bit of rain here and there. And I'll start with these rather inexpensive MAC glasses. These are called sequence glasses. They have all different types. The reason I like them is interchangeable lenses. And they come out that simple, and then they go back in just as simple. And I have dark, clear, and amber lenses for these, which are just fabulous. I like the amber for wearing them in the rain. And obviously protection from any sort of flying debris. I got hit with all kinds of things in the face, including June bugs and bumblebees and all kinds of things flying off the road and in the air, as well as protection from the rain itself. Anyway, I'll give these 5 stars out of 5. Inexpensive and very good glasses. Also, I had some booties. They actually call these dry foot cycle Gaiters. These are made by Taiga, a Vancouver company. They're actually made in Canada, which are kind of nice. And you wear these over your shoes. And I have a pair on now. I'll just show you what they're like here. And I don't know if it shows up as far as the how they show up when you might be cycling, but there's basically 3 different Velcro straps on them. One at the top to undo, one around the back to hold it snug, and then one underneath to hold it around the top. And then of course you've got a zipper all the way down the front. And on the bottom, I'll just show you the bottom. I have clipless pedals, so I actually clip into the pedal with this this device right here. It's a Shimano clipless pedal. But basically it'll work with any clipless pedal you want, in that there's nothing here in the bottom of the Gaiter. So it'll work with any kind of shoe, and it actually keeps you very dry. These are quite amazing. One issue with them I found at the top was slightly loose. It's meant to go with a specific pant, which were, I don't know, almost $200, so I didn't get the pant. But I just put my tights actually over this and it actually worked really well. I went through a driving rain for 4 to 5 hours. My shoes were completely dry. And when you arrive at your campsite and your shoes are dry, that's really nice because it usually takes a while for shoes to dry out, so you're not putting on wet shoes the next morning. So I really did appreciate that fact from them. When you take them off, they're actually a little bit heavier than some of the other designs because they are substantial. So a little bit heavier, and they don't pack down quite as small as some of the other designs as well. And they're also a little bit hot, like a lot of waterproof things, a little bit hot to wear in the hot weather. But overall, I'll give it 4 or 5 stars. So that's Taiga Dry Foot Cycle Gaiters, 4 or 5 stars. As far as pants goes, mostly I just wore tights in the rain and I got wet. And if it's hot, that's probably fine. I did have a pair of these MEC. They're not cycling specific pants, they're like running, nylon. They do block the wind, so more of a wind pant, and they deflected a lot of the water. So if it was cold, I wore these a couple of days. It was better than nothing, not like a real rain pant, which they sell, but they're very inexpensive, very light, very small, packs right down, and on a cold day, they're pretty handy. So I'll give that 3 out of 5 stars for cycling, in that it's not really a cycling specific piece of equipment. Also had a Shimano, see the designation there, Shimano cover for my helmet. And this is a rain cover, obviously a very bright canary yellow. And it does a couple of things. It protects the head from a cold wind. Obviously high visibility, so in poor weather it really stands out. Plus there's the reflective sides on it as well. And it also sheds the rain, and it does an excellent job of that. It comes on and off the helmet very quickly, very easily, and it's about $15 to $18 for that. Packs up to almost nothing and weighs almost nothing. So that's a really good piece of kit, very valuable, and I actually wore it a lot, both in rainy weather and cool weather. Next I'll go to my shoes. These are Bontrager SSR multi-sport shoes, and a couple things about these shoes. They're not racing shoes. They're not the lightest shoes in the world. There's a couple of reasons I bought them. One is they're actually a form that you can actually get off your bike and walk around town and not look completely out of place. It's almost like a regular recreational shoe. Also on the bottom you'll see there's a cutout, so if you wear a clipless pedal you can actually install that there and still walk around and not be hitting the metal on the ground. So it's very well designed that way for if you're on a touring bike and you get off and you want to walk around. It's not uncomfortable like some other cycling shoes. The other thing I really liked about these shoes is they're very comfortable. So right out of the box I could wear them. Even though they have a pretty stiff sole, which you want for cycling, because you've got a lot of stress on the pedal, they're actually quite stiff but very comfortable. And finally, they're very inexpensive. Just over $100 for these shoes, and as you probably know, cycling shoes can be $200 to $300 easily. So very good shoe, Bontrager SSR Multisport, 5 out of 5 stars. But I also have this jacket. This is the Surgoi Versa bike jacket. One of my largest, more expensive purchases, but I actually wore this pretty much every single day of the entire trip at one time or another. And there's a couple of reasons I really like it. I don't know if you can see the little dots all over this thing. It's really amazing when you see it at night and you see a light shined on it. It just shows up like a beacon, like a million beacons actually, all over the jacket. I wore the jacket for about a month. I didn't even know it had pockets, but it actually has 2 pockets, one on each side at the back here. So you can stow the sleeves in there and such. And what I mean by that is it converts to a vest by a series of magnets. So I've got another vest jacket, which is a series of zippers, which actually takes a bit of time to get it on and off. This thing is quite amazing. It's this easy to transfer it into a vest. And that's it. That's all you do. And the way it works is there's a few little magnets sewn into the material, and I thought maybe the magnets might get a little weak over time, but as a matter of fact they did not. Completely waterproof, 100% waterproof, and they just work fabulously. So to put it on and to take it off literally takes seconds. And that's what I would often do when it would rain. It'd stop raining and it would start raining again. And if it's a little cool, I would wear the vest. So really nice vest, high visibility again, and very convertible. So plus a pocket at the back. So that's the Surgoi Versa bike jacket. It was about $170. And I'll give it 5 out of 5 stars. It's just a fabulous product. Okay, I'm going to go to my pannies, and I showed them to you before. These are the Arkel Dolphins, and they're the 32 liter. That's 32 liters a pair. So I had 4 of these. They're fairly small. You can get bigger ones, but I found that distributed the weight extremely well. So you probably can't see inside this thing very well, but it actually has a fair bit of room, and The mechanism on this is extremely simple and reliable, very easy to get on and off. Also, the material is very thick and completely waterproof. So I double bagged everything in here, and not a drop of water got inside these bags. As long as I folded the top over twice and then clipped it on each end, comes off, not a drop of water got in these bags. Also really handy with these bags, on each side is a elasticized pocket on both sides. So I had 4 of these bags, so 8 of these pockets. So these are great for water bottles, or throw a can of soup in there, or anything you like. I actually use these pockets a lot, pretty much every day. So the Arkel bags, a little bit on the expensive side, but it's like a lot of things, is definitely worthwhile, and I'll give those 5 out of 5 stars as well. Arkel Dolphins. Alright, so let's go over to the bike. There's a couple things I want to say there. And let's start at the front here. So with the map bag, otherwise known as the Arkel handlebar bag, and it's a small handlebar bag. This yellow outer casing is again for water, and it's useful. The problem with the yellow outer bag is that to access the inner bag, you pretty much have to take it off. So it got a little tiring having to take this thing on and off when it was raining, but it does keep everything nice and dry. So pretty easy to take this off. I'm just doing it one-handed now. So that yellow bag, I'll give it a 4 out of 5 stars for that. Handlebar bag itself, 7.5 liters. Front closure here for, I put stuff that I would use regularly in here because it's a very accessible bag. And then I had 2 expandable things on either side. Here's my bike lock I've got in here, which again are very useful. I kept my map always inside here, which it's kind of nice. It keeps off if it's a little drizzle going on. And the actual map bag itself, really quite large, 7.5 liters. So I'll give the handlebar bag a 5 stars out of 5. Very nice piece of equipment. Keeps a lot of your things handy all the way through. Okay, we come down to the bicycle seat. Very important. I talked a bit about the saddle I had before the trip, and this is of course a Brooks saddle. This is with the cover on it. The cover is useful for when it's raining. You don't really want the leather saddle to be out in the rain. And that's one of the minor irritations with having a leather saddle. You have to keep this cover handy, pull it out, and you just ride on top of it. So I'll just take the saddle off. You can see the saddle is actually looking a little bit more worn. However, it's still shaped absolutely perfectly. Very comfortable right out of the box. You can ask Glenn and Kevin, my 2 riding partners, for part of the way, how sore they were and how sore I was. And this saddle is definitely worth it, at least for me, in the way I'm shaped. Excellent investment. I'll give it 4.5 stars out of 5. I'll take off a half a star because of the, it takes a bit of extra care. Okay, on to the bicycle itself. It's a True North bicycle, chromoly frame, and I just wanted to say a couple things about it. One was, I did not have even one mechanical fault with this bicycle over 6,500 kilometers, which is absolutely amazing. Not one thing went wrong the whole time. And there's a couple of things I just want to point out on the bicycle. And the first one would be the tires. These are Marathon Deluxe tires. And I'll see if I can get the tread. And this tread has 7,000 kilometers on them, and I didn't get one flat in the entire time. They worked absolutely perfect. I rode over glass, I rode over bolts and nuts and pieces of metal and rocks and stones and gravel roads and everything, and they're just an amazing tire. They're the Marathon Deluxe. They also make the Schwab Marathon Plus tires, which they consider a no-flat tire. In other words, they almost guarantee it will not flat for you. So just amazing products out there now for if you're planning a touring bike adventure. The other thing I like to mention is the disc brakes. When you load up your bike with weight, the disc brakes are very valuable, and these were excellent throughout. The fenders, I've got these excellent fenders. They've got little mud flaps on the bottom, and yeah, when you're riding in mud or water, rain, very nice feature to have. And coming back to the back of the bike, there's one feature in this bike which is particularly useful, and that was the roll-off hub. Let's see if I can get in here. The roll-off hub, it's a 14-speed hub. A little bit of a weight disadvantage, but overall I have to give it 5 out of 5 stars because it worked absolutely flawlessly. And particularly the gear ratios. So in the mountains I had a very low gear ratio, so I could actually make it up the mountain without too much distress. Anyway, overall, look at the True North bike and the part spec I have on the bike, and again I would give it 5 out of 5 stars. So overall, in summation, I just wanted to say equipment is really important. To pick fairly good equipment if you can afford it. It certainly saves you a lot of stress and distress along the way, as this bike showed me on this trip, with absolutely no faults whatsoever. For those of you who might have questions for me, or queries, questions, or thoughts, maybe something you want me to clarify or answer, I'll be happy to. Just leave your comments. I'd be happy to hear them. Also, donations on the page I'm leaving open until the end of October. So thank you all that have donated. And one other thing, my next video might be on pet peeves, so I might not be so nice in the next video. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.